Our first subject is about made in Australia. We're going to look at the funny side. This is satire. This is what happens when we actually look at the funny side of something that it could have been very serious. And we're going to look at some stories with the berry scare about 2 years ago. I don't know if you remember, but we had some berries that, of course, came from China, and people, not just in Australia, but all around the world, they were getting sick with hepatitis A. Now, let's have a look at this.
Fitting organic berries into your diet is supposed to be one of the most healthful things to do, but that truism is being tested now. The Food and Drug Administration has linked an outbreak of hepatitis A to a frozen organic berry mix processed at an Oregon farm and sold nationally at Costco.
Okay, so this is the news from the US, and basically they had the problem with berries from China, and they were getting very, very sick, and that was in 2013. And then in 2014, the same news just broke in where? In Europe. So basically the Chinese, they were selling first to America, and then when they caught out, they went to Europe. And then after Europe, of course, they came to Australia. Have a look at this.
Creative gourmet mixed berries have been taken off the shelves. The company recalled Nana's mixed berries over the weekend and urged consumers to throw out the product.
So we asked Mandy Nolan to tell us her side of the story and to give us a comparison. That's what she said.
What are you putting in your mouth? Like, do you actually know what it's going, where has it been? You know, where has that thing been that's been in your mouth? It's a bit like the sort of equivalent of having a one-night stand and picking up a drunk backpacker.
9 Australians are being treated for hepatitis A this morning after consuming frozen berries from China. And also that China, with some of these items that they produce and export, that they use human excrement as fertilizer.
What's that, Mandy?
It's from poo. Did you know that? Actual poo that comes out your bum.
Okay, Mandy, okay, that's enough. Thank you. Okay, now let's have a look and see what the doctor ordered.
And I put a plea out to everyone, try to get purely Australian-made food. And that's something you really have to be diligent in reading the labels, not just Australian-owned. It has to be Australian-made.
Okay, so the message is very clear. Just try to use Australian-grown, Australian-packed, Australian-made products as much as you can, if you can find it. We're going to try and we're going to push our case with the supermarket so we can have our separate aisles with our own Australian-grown food for our safety's sake, for our children's sake. Okay, now, Mandy, how was this stuff contaminated again?
There's poo in here because someone was packing the blueberries in the bag, right? And they went, ooh, I need a poo. And then they go to the toilet, right? And then they come back and they go, I didn't wash my hands. Doesn't matter. It's going to Australia.
That's enough. Now, so basically, we had these Chinese berries that they came from. They went to America, then they went to Europe, and then when they found out about them, they sent them to Australia. But it didn't stop there. You know what? After Australia, you know what happened? That was America in 2014. That was Europe 2015. Australia in the beginning of 2015. Yes, 15. And end of 2015, we get this news from New Zealand.
Engari ko tō tētahi whakaaro e kene pēr me whakature ai o me whakarite ture ai rātau kia pūrangi aho ai te tohu.
What was that in Maori? That's Maori. What was that?
Pūrangi aho ai te tohu.
Mandy, please translate for us.
Poo berries. I've been getting so many antioxidants and I've been actually, reseeding my bowel at the same time by having these.
Sorry, I think it's funny. I don't know. Maybe you don't think it's funny, but I think it is. Now, this is satire. We had a problem. We might have more problems. We don't know what we eat anymore, do we? That's why I said to you, Australian, eat Australian. Forget about the rest. Just use the best. Australian grown, Australian packed, Australian made, Australian everything. And at least we know where it's coming from. At least we know it's clean. At least we know it's not watered with human sewage. Come on, support our own products. Okay, so we decided to just make another ad.
Are you tired of your job? Is your boss giving you a hard time? Do you want 50 days off with full pay? We have the solution for you. Nana's Berries. Direct from China to you with love. Watered and fertilized with raw sewage. We guarantee you minimum 50 sicky days off work. Nana's Berries. Direct from China. Nana's Berries. Guaranteed hepatitis A.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Remember what the doctor ordered?
Still, it's very important, again, Australian made, because in Australia we have very high standards, whereas those standards aren't as strong in other countries.
And now we're just going to watch an interview with Tony Abbott, the ex-Prime Minister, and a couple of his ministers.
Part of building on the strengths of Australian agriculture is allowing people in this country and elsewhere to know exactly how much of the product is Australian. I'm very pleased and proud to announce this important initiative on country of origin labelling.
In the past, it was always a case of frustration where you would pick up a can and it would say something like "Made in Australia." The overwhelming sentiment of that statement was that obviously this product is Australian. Then on greater investigation, it became quite apparent it was anything but Australian. It might have been put into a can in Australia, but that's about as far as it went. What this does is gives you a clear understanding. Number one, if it's been manufactured or substantially changed, it's Australian. If it has Australian produce, it will be registered by a gold mark on this bar graph.
The consumers don't even have to reach into their pocket, pull out the glasses for. They don't have to read the text unless they want to, because the symbol will tell them exactly that it's made in Australia or processed in Australia. The gold bar will tell them how much is Australian produce. Today is a major milestone that will not only support farmers who produce quality produce, but will support Australian food manufacturers who have the highest standards in processing.
They started doing something about it. And suddenly, Abbott, gone. You know what his name means in Greek? Push. Push. Like, whew. And that's what happened to him. Someone pushed him over the cliff, of course. Anyway, since then, of course, nothing happened. We tried to contact these guys down in Canberra. We sent them email, we tried to call, nothing. No response. So basically, that idea was great. That's what we need. But do the politicians listen to us? We're going to keep trying. We're going to try to talk to our Minister for Agriculture, and we're going to tell them it's a great idea. Let's please do it. Let's save our farmers and our made in Australia products. Oh, sorry. Products of Australia. Oh, I'm getting confused myself now.